2021 was a busy year for games. Here are 10 titles on PC you might have missed and should definitely catch up on. A sad fact of life is that no matter how brilliant our keyboard and mouse are, we can only play one game at a time. This means inevitably that even with the best of intentions, there are always a few that get away. Now, you might have been eagle-eyed and managed to play all of these in 2021, in which case we applaud you. But just in case, here are 10 of the most incredible games that might have slipped under your radar. You won't want to miss them, trust us. Subscribe to Logitech G and let's go through these hidden 2021 gems. Well, this is an apt place to start. The Forgotten City definitely isn't one to let slip your gaming mind. Available on Xbox Game Pass PC as well as on Steam, this is a magnificent mystery game that we'd rather not reveal too much about for the sake of spoilers. Just like the brilliant Deathloop, another 2021 highlight, The Forgotten City makes the most of a time loop to tell its story of an ancient Roman city. Prepare for moral decisions galore as you shape the story with each loop and each interaction with a range of incredible characters. Prepare to want to discover as many of the endings as possible just so you can spend more time in this fascinating, fantastical world.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
The lovely thing about tabletop gaming now is that the relationship with video games goes both ways. Everyone is learning from each other, and Wildermyth is a gloriously in-depth tabletop-style tactical RPG. This is a procedurally generated journey that's built on unique characters who actually evolve as you progress. And the fact that so much is randomized means that your party of heroes will never be the same as someone else's. Spawning plenty of chats, your friends will probably file away in the same drawer as D&D memories from a night they weren't there. There are even romances and rivalries that mean your journey can become more entertaining and dramatic than a Real Housewives episode. Living up to expectations is a struggle we all understand, and most of us don't even have a folk guitar legend as an uncle. The Artful Escape then somehow manages to stay oddly relatable despite the fact that our hero Francis can play electric guitar like a god and travels out of the Milky Way to learn to be himself.
What do you call yourself?
Out here? I'm not sure. I'm dabbling with the idea of becoming someone else entirely.
This is a glorious platformer with a difference as we soar through the air playing astonishing solos that echo across galaxies. It's a short experience, but with a button specifically for shredding, the Artful Escape is an incredible game that your ears really won't forgive you for missing. Even better, just like The Forgotten City, you'll find it included on Game Pass. No one said anything about this list not having DLC, and Outer Wilds Echoes of the Eye expansion didn't have nearly enough publicity on release. This is probably because it arrived in September when we were already drowning in holiday titles, but there's no excuse now not to experience this brilliance. Echoes of the Eye is another enigma to solve and another slice of brilliant discovery in this unique looping game. All you need to do is make your way into the museum and everything will gradually unfurl from there. As with everything in Outer Wilds, it's best we don't say too much, but if you loved the original experience of stopping the world from ending, you won't want to miss this. If you've played Daniel Mullins' previous game Pony Island, you'll know that all is not as it first appears in Inscryption. You might also know this because you've seen all the hype around this deck building game meets escape room, but it's definitely still worth a dive in. It's not a regular horror game, but a real unsettling darkness awaits as you unlock woodland creature cards and try to beat the game master in order to get out of the cabin in which you're trapped. Wielding skunks, turtles and squirrels is surreal, but nowhere near as strange as this card game gets, and you'll just need to play to find out how this puzzle unfolds. No spoilers here. Interactive Pixar adventures just don't come along every day, and we'd like it even more when they arrive with a team of bonus helpers called the Rot, who turn out to be absolutely adorable. Kena Bridge of Spirits is a gorgeous 3D action-adventure that feels like basking in an animated movie world with a truly heartfelt story. The titular Kena is in charge of helping spirits cross into the right realm, and we join her as she discovers a mysterious abandoned village. Even better is that it's not all just good looks. The combat is satisfying and gets even better as you unlock various abilities for the Rot to take advantage of. All wrapped up with a glorious soundtrack, Kena Bridge of Spirits is one of the most overlooked games of 2021.
I sense suffering here, Spirit. Do you need help?
If this year's Tunic scratched your itch for a Zelda-style experience and you want more, the good news is that the perfect game is already out there. Death's Door is a beautiful, melancholy adventure packed with puzzles and plenty of exploration, but still sits in that 10-hour sweet spot that means you don't need to invest your entire life to play. We take on the role of a soul-reaping crow who's just doing his 9 to 5 but ends up in a mysterious realm while on the hunt for a rogue soul. The combat is swift and to the point and doesn't suffer fools, making it constantly satisfyingly challenging to progress. Add in a cast of unique characters and you won't want to avoid knocking on Death's Door. Whodunits are brilliant, but sometimes we want to feel a little more, well, nefarious than the worthy detective morally judging everyone for a little bit of murder. This is exactly why Overboard is so utterly delectable. Because we know who done it because, well, we done it. Yes, this beautifully concise mystery puts you in control of the murderess on a ship, and you need to use the next precious 8 hours to create the perfect alibi so you're not the one accused by that worthy detective we were talking about. Every second and conversation counts here, and Overboard is perfectly concise, meaning every replay feels like you discover something new. Oh, and feeling like you can get away with visually stylish murder is pretty satisfying too. 2021 really was a vintage year for indie delights. Sable is another Zelda-style open-world adventure with a focus on exploration, this time with a hoverbike in a gorgeous cel-shaded world. It's hard to believe this is the work of a tiny development team, but Sable is set in a sprawling desert land of nomads and tribes where you constantly feel on the cusp of a fresh, exciting discovery. Whether you're on foot or on your trusty and probably dusty bike, everything feels like a proper adventure. Oh, and prepare to become very attached to your hoverbike, which you can upgrade and personalize as you progress. Conversations with it when you are out in the wilds are of course optional. Just know that we wouldn't judge. And finally, let's not forget Loop Hero. Despite the title, unlike the Forgotten City, this isn't a time loop game. Instead, the loop here is the grind of an RPG hero, slaying monsters and upgrading their armor so they can, well, slay even more monsters and unlock even more armor. But the twist is that we don't actively control our hero. Instead, each slain creature drops cards that we then use to add elements to the scenery which can change the loop, and we're also in charge of keeping armor and weaponry as up to date as possible. With each circle of the terrain, monsters will rise in level, and we need to keep an eye on our intrepid hero's stats too, so that they can stay stronger than the opposition. Oh, and we can't stop playing it. So that's 10 incredible games that might have passed you by in 2021. Let us know which ones you're heading back to play in the comments below, drop us a like if you enjoyed the video, and remember to subscribe to Logitech G for more lists and features just like this one. If you do already subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way you'll never miss another video from us.